The February 27th, 2017 meeting of the Recreation Education Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Alcoffer? Here. Mr. Felder? Here. Mr. Flagler-Mitchell? Here. Mr. Marionetti? Here. Chairman Terp?
Here. Is there anyone signed up for the public forum?
There is not.
Is there anyone present who has not signed up to speak but would like to address the committee at this time? There is not. The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. You have the November 28th, 2016 minutes before you. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. The next item on the agenda is new business. Madam Clerk.
Referral 17-0068, acceptance of a grant.
Moved by Legislator Alcoffer, second by Legislator Marinetti. Is there any discussion? Yes, Mr. Felder.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to the administration. Just one question. Is there any reason why the grant went down from last year, the amount?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, the grant's based on registrations and numbers of registrations. As registrations fluctuate, so do the grants.
Thank you.
Snowmobile registrations.
Mr. Alcoffer.
Mr. Chairman, how is a decrease in funding absorbed by each of the groups?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I don't quite understand the question.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the administration. Each of the clubs receives money from the state. How is it absorbed, that decrease in funding by each of the clubs? Since they've got groomers, they've got tractors, trailers, things like that.
The amount that they receive is based on the miles that they cover. So it's absorbed individually by the groups, and it's up to the groups on how they absorb that decrease, or in many cases, in other years, increase in funding. It fluctuates from year to year, so it's up to them to budget appropriately.
Through you, Mr. Chair, are all the groups, they absorb this cost equally?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, as I said, it's based on mileage, so based on the miles that they cover and groom, it's based proportionally.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, do the clubs anticipate extra mileage in 2017-18 of trails?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, the clubs have to apply every year to New York State, and New York State decides how they fund and how they, if they accept those increases or decreases in miles covered, and we're notified in September of every year. So we wouldn't know for 2018 until September of 2017.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, what's the effect of the reduced funding for each of these clubs?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, as I said in my previous answer, it would be up to the individual clubs. We're merely serving as a pass-through on this, and we have, other than to assist the clubs with receiving this money from the state, how they spend the money is up to them.
Okay. One more question, Mr. Chairman. What's the process for if you're going to increase mileage for the public or private properties, state-owned or utility-owned properties? What's their process?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, each club has to receive permission from a landowner, be it public or private, and then they put that in their application to the state.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor vote by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item passes. Next item on the agenda.
Referral 17-0069, authorized contracts.
Second.
Moved by Legislator Marinetti, second by Legislator Alcoffer. Is there any discussion? Legislator Flagler-Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the administration, were these events successful last year?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, yes, they were very successful.
Thank you, thank you. And how much revenue did the county net?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I knew that was going to be your next question. You sure you don't want to just go with very successful? Here it is. Through you, Mr. Chairman, in 2016, our percentage of ticket sales for summer concerts, which was the one concert, Tedeschi Trucks, Wheels of Soul, at the Highland Park Bowl, that netted the county, our 10%, believe it or not, $25,127. It was an immensely successful concert, and very well attended, and, you know, from all accounts, you know, I was there, as well as many of our staff. Neighbors were very happy with the crowds and the behavior of the crowds. It was a very well attended and very well behaved audience. The Food Trucks Festival of America is a brand new event, so we don't have sales from last year, but we anticipate that we would receive about $7,000 between ticket sales, special use charges, vendor fees, and shelter rentals.
Nice. Thank you. What is the revenue used for? Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the administration.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, the revenue from the concerts is deposited into the Monroe County Parks budget, so we use that as our operating revenue, and it's budgeted accordingly every year. The revenue from the Food Truck Festivals of America, we have asked to deposit that into the Horticultural Trust Fund, which will be used throughout the county park system for new plantings and infrastructure improvements.
Okay, thank you, thank you. And I know you said that the food truck event was a new event, so so you may not have this number, but how many tickets were sold for each event last year? Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the administration.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, the ticket sold for the concert was about 5,000 tickets. Food trucks we don't have since it's a new event, but we're anticipating pretty good attendance on that based on the numbers that they've shown us for other events that they've had across the country. This is actually a national promoter who works with Clear Channel and Sam Adams Brewery, and they produce this event nationwide in multiple cities across the country, using local food trucks and regional food trucks, and you know, bringing in their expertise of managing these kind of operations. And you know, we figured we'd give them a shot this year and see how it goes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Any other discussion?
The only ticketed events in Monroe County Parks for the year.
For you, Mr. Chairman, that's correct.
Okay. How is revenue for the Parks Department determined? Is it a per ticket sale or just gross on the event itself?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, the revenue that goes to the Parks Department is a percentage of ticket sales. In both of these cases, it would be 10%. And then on top of that, if it were being held in a park and they're using any of our other facilities, such as shelters, we would also charge them for that.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. Are there any other matters to come before the committee? Seeing none, the February 27th, 2017 meeting of the Recreation Education Committee stands adjourned. The next meeting of the Recreation Education Committee is scheduled for March 27th, 2017 at 6 p.m.